And I call the member for Hughes.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. It's pleased to rise and speak on the first bill of this new year, the Hazardous Waste Regulation of Exports and Imports Amendment Bill of 2016, with the Hazardous Waste Regulation of Export and Imports Levy Bill, also of 2016. The Hazardous Waste Regulation of Export and Imports regulates the export, import and transit of hazardous waste to ensure it is managed in an environmentally sound manner to minimise its harmful effects to humans and the environment. The Act implements Australia's obligations under the Basel Convention on the control of transboundary movements of hazardous wastes and other international treaties set up to control the movement of hazardous wastes from one country to another and its disposal. The Hazardous Waste Regulation Amendment Bill will allow for full cost recovery permitted of activities under the Act. The amendment will also make administrative amendments to reduce the complexity of the Act and regulatory burden on business. Consequential amendments will also be made to the Act. Deputy Speaker, it's very important that we put these cost recovery methods in place. I think every one of us, Deputy Speaker, at the outset of this Parliament, at the outset of this new year, should commit ourselves to doing everything that we possibly can to get our budget, firstly, back to surplus, to balance, firstly, then get it into surplus, Deputy Speaker, to slowly pay down the debt. We are currently facing, Deputy Speaker, where very soon the decisions made in this chamber will have resulted in this country having $500 billion in national debt. $500 billion. And what that means, Deputy Speaker, is that every single month we must divert more than $1 billion just to pay the interest bill. That's $1 billion that is diverted away from our schools, our hospitals, our roads, our kids with disabilities, all the other things that we all see in our electorates, how desperate we are for every single cent that we can get. We owe it to future generations of Australians to ensure, Deputy Speaker, that we do not make decisions in this Parliament that add to that deficit and add to that debt. This bill goes a small way to doing that, Deputy Speaker. We're lifting the cap that was previously set at $8,000 for an import or an export of a piece of hazardous waste to ensure that there is full cost recovery. Deputy Speaker, I commend this bill to the House, but I ask my friends on the other side of the chamber, this year, let's ensure we do every single thing that we can to reduce that deficit, to bring our budget back to surplus, because we owe it to future generations of Australians. I commend the bill to the House.